Let's talk about the US medical and interview process for someone applying for a spousal visa. Hi, I am Shay and I am a beneficiary of a spousal visa. My husband was a green card holder and then he became a United States citizen, and so I transformed from the F2A category to the IR1 category, and this is how my medical and interview process went. Firstly, let's talk about the medical. So after I got my interview letter from the US Embassy, I went ahead and I was supposed to set an appointment for my medical with Andrews Memorial Hospital in Kingston. Now, Andrews has been having a lot of backlog, and the schedule is just always full, and so it was a hard process for me to get a date for medical. The initial date I got was the 4th of March, and my interview date was supposed to be the 5th of March, so it was just like one day before. But what I did was I kept on refreshing their page and trying to find a new date. And the new date that I ended up getting was February 29, which was maybe 4 days before the interview date. I wasn't really too happy with that because they normally advise setting your medical to at least 2 weeks before the interview, but I was happy with the fact that it's actually before my interview. Even though I got the 29th, I kept refreshing and refreshing to see if I could find another date, and I didn't have any luck, so I had to work with the 29th. So on the 29th of February, I went to Andrews Memorial Hospital to do my medical, and this is how that went. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 3 a.m. on February 29, guys, and I am leaving out to go and do my medical today. I hear that it's a first come first serve basis, so I want to go there and get done as soon as possible. Hence why I'm leaving out so early. You know, I'm not in Kingston, so I'm leaving from Mandeville going to Kingston 3 a.m. in the morning, guys. Look at the sky. All you can see is darkness and stars and the quarter moon. That is all we can see. So when I get there, guys, I will certainly check back in with you, give you an update of how the medical goes. But yes, the next stage of this journey is finally here. Interview next week. I really would have wished for an earlier medical date, but I'm happy that the medical date is before the interview. So it is what it is. I'm going to pray for the best and know that God has it in his hands. So I'll see you guys when I get to Andrews, and I'll give you all the details. So I left here at 3, and I got there minutes after 4, or minutes to 5, so 4:45 thereabout. And I was number 1 in line, so yay, that worked. So I was number 1 in line, and they didn't start processing until 6 a.m. So they came and they told us at 6 a.m. to get some documents together. And the documents they told us to get was a passport. So do you need your passport for the medical? So I had to get your passport. The medical history form that you have to download from their site and fill out. I had to prepare that as well. So passport, medical history form. I also had to take my COVID vaccination card, my immunization card, and one passport size photo. Yes. So that is what I needed to get out. I got that out. I gave it to them. They looked through it. They wrote number 1 on my paper just to show that I'm the first person. And they sent me back out to sit. And while I was sitting, they were processing everybody else. And at around 6:45, they called me back in to take a photograph. Here's the thing though, I wore a white blouse on the day, and the photograph backdrop was a white backdrop. And so I wasn't so concerned about that because I was like, my picture is going to look like a head floating in midair, right? But the young lady who took my photograph said, no, that's fine. And so I took my photograph even though it was in a white blouse. But just a little word of advice, maybe not, because maybe the next person who might be taking the photo on that day might say, no, you can't have the white. So just a little word of advice. Stay away from white if you can, right? And then I went back out to sit after taking the photograph and around 7:30, a nurse called me back in. She took my weight, my height, my blood pressure, my temperature. She did an eye test, so she had me stand behind a line and read the letters big to small. And then I went back out to sit again. Then around 8:50, so an hour and a couple minutes later, after doing the weight and height and all that, I was called again over the intercom to go in for registration. When I went in for registration, I had to read a paper that it gave to me. So registration is basically you paying the money that you need to pay, as well as signing a paper to give them permission to perform the medical. So I had to read that, disclaimer, all of that, apply my signature, and after I applied my signature and I gave them back the paper, I received a paper with all that I am going to be doing on the day and how much it was going to cost. Now here's the nitty-gritty of it all. This paper that I got showed that I needed to do 3 things. I needed to do the physical examination, I needed to get a syphilis blood test, and I needed to do x-ray. Now the reason why I needed to do only 3 is because I was preparing beforehand. Now, when you are migrating to the United States, there are a list of vaccinations that you are going to need. You're going to be needing your COVID vaccination. So if you don't have any COVID yet, you're going to be needing your COVID vaccination. If you took COVID, you're going to be needing booster shots. So I took my 2 doses of COVID vaccine and I got my booster shot in January of this year. So I was up to date with my COVID. If it is flu season, you are going to be needing your flu shot. And I took my flu shot up in January of this year, so I was up to date with that as well. You're also going to be needing certain vaccinations based on your age. Now you can go to the USCIS website to find this sheet that they have there that shows you what vaccinations are required for you based on your age. And I'm going to be dropping a link below so you can just click on that and you can find that out for yourselves. But I'm 26 years old and I needed to have my hepatitis B vaccine because I did not have that, my Tdap, and I needed my chickenpox vaccine, the varicella. And so I did not have those, but I took them in February because I realized that I was going to be needing those. And I did not want to stand the risk of going to Andrews and them saying to me that they don't have it, and then I delay my medical because I would have to go somewhere else, or I go there, they have it, and it's too expensive. So go to your health center, find out how much it is for them. Some of them are free, and get them. If your health center doesn't have it, find a place in your area that has it and get them. It's best to get them before you go to your medical to prevent any delays. And because of that, so back to where I was, I did the physical examination, the blood test, and the x-ray. And so my total came up to 26,400 for my medical on the day. But remember, I got vaccination before, which came up to around 15,500 based on all the vaccines I had to get before. And so my total, I'm going to put it on the screen right here because I don't have the final calculation, but I'll put it right here. So that was my total, and that was essentially my medical. So after I paid for the registration, I went ahead and I went and did my x-ray at about 9:10 thereabout. And then I got back out and I sat and I did my blood test around 9:25, and then I went to see the doctor about 9:40 thereabout. With the doctor now, the doctor is going to be asking you a series of questions. So the doctor might ask you, is going to ask you what's on the medical history form just to see if your answers are correlating to what you actually put there when you fill out the form. And they're going to be asking some other questions. So questions like, do you smoke? Smoke marijuana? Smoke tobacco? All of that stuff. And then they're going to proceed to check you out. So you're going to lie on a bed. They're going to check out your heartbeat and all of that stuff. They're going to check your ear, all of that stuff. And then the doctor will tell you if you need any other vaccinations or if everything checks out. For me, everything checked out because I prepared beforehand. So I want everybody, you have your medical coming up, or you are near there, get all that you need to get before the date. Don't wait till last minute, because Andrews is having some delays, and if you can prevent it from delaying any further, I advise you to do just that. But the day wasn't as smooth as I'm making it seem, because after finishing with the doctor, I went back out to sit after the doctor told me that a nurse will come back out with your documents in short order because you have nothing outstanding. I went back out to sit, and tell me, people, why did I sit outside waiting for 2 hours before I got my documents? I had to get aggressive in order for them to come out with my documents. When I went up to the guy at the front desk and I told him that I don't think it should be taking this long for me to be getting back my documents because the doctor says everything checked, so I don't have anything outstanding. He told me initially, sit and wait. I was getting impatient. I went back to him and I said to him, I have nothing outstanding. He said, okay, give me your passport. And he took my passport and he went to find my documents. My documents were lost. Yep, lost. He came back out laughing after 30 to 45 minutes, saying, oh my God, the nurse said she thought you got these long time and reach home. It's not funny, sir. I waited 2 hours. So people who I ended up going before ended up leaving before me. But the good thing about it is that I had nothing outstanding. And so even though there was that delay, the medical was as smooth as it could be. Nothing is perfect, right? So that was my medical on February 29. Now, let's get over to how the interview went. Now, this part of it is the most important, I would imagine, and the longest part of it. This is how my interview went on March 5th. So I had a interview time of 8:30 a.m. on March 5th. I got there around 7:30. Yes, and I waited on the outside with a whole lot of people, and they called for 7:30 around 8:15. So I joined the line on the outside, and the guys I'm going to be reading from because I want to give you everything as accurately as I can. So I joined the line on the outside, and we were instructed to take out interview letter, 2 passport size photos, and your passport. We were also instructed of the things that we are not allowed to bring in. One of them being a lip balm. I did not know you could take my lip balm, and I had a lip balm, so I had to dispose of my lip balm. And they took all that they required, and shortly after, I was able to go in. I put on my documents because I wore no jewelry that day. The only jewelry I wore was my wedding ring and pearl earrings. And the pearls aren't metal, so I know I wouldn't be detected. I wore jeans pants. I wore a black tank top with a blazer, and I didn't wear any belts. So I didn't wear anything that would go off through the metal detector. I couldn't bother with pulling out and putting back in and all that. So I didn't go with any of that. All I went with was a folder in my hand. So I placed the folder in the bin, and it went through the detector, and I took it back out when it got to the other side, and I went out. When I went back out, we had to join the line to go up to the counter where they asked us for our interview letter, and they gave us back a sheet of paper with our number on it. So I got back the sheet of paper with my number on it, and I was instructed to sit and wait. And I sat and waited for maybe an hour and a half before my name was called, and I went inside. And on the inside was the longest wait. And on the inside was when I started getting nervous, because I'm now seeing and hearing all the other interviews taking place, and all the other questions everybody else is getting, and all the denials, and I start getting nervous. And let me just add that even though this had nothing to do with me, nobody got visitor visas on that day. Nobody got visitor visas on that
day, everybody was arguing about the embassy being a scam because they did not get visitor visas on that day. Yes, but back to my process. So, whew, after an hour of waiting on the inside, my name was called up, and I went up and I was asked to present my passport, my birth certificate, my marriage certificate, one passport size photo, and my police record. And these are all original documents. No photocopies, they should be the originals, right? I handed those over and I did my fingerprint. 4 here, 4 here, and the thumb, right? After I did that, I was asked some pre-screening questions. So I was asked to confirm my address, confirm my phone number, as well as who's filing for me, his full name, first, middle, last, whether either of us have ever been married before, and whether or not I have ever traveled before. After that, I was told to take a seat and wait for my name for the final time. After another 45 minutes of sitting and hearing all the denials and getting even more nervous, my name was called again. I went up and the interview went smoothly. No, before I get to the interview, while sitting down, there were 2 females and a man who was doing the interview, and I was like, God, please let me get one of the women. The man was so grumpy. I was like, please let me get one of the women. They were like asking like 2 questions and approving everybody, and I was like, let me get one of them. Then I saw the strange man come out, only to hear the man say, called my name. I'm like, oh my God, I don't know what to expect because this man he just came out and I'm the first person he's calling, like, but God knew what he was doing because it went smoothly with that gentleman. So he greeted me. He made me do the oath. I had to raise my right hand and do the oath. And then he leaned in. He leaned in. And his questions were, listen carefully, who is filing for you? What is his full name? What state does he live in? What is his home address? Then he said, please tell me the story of how you met. And I did tell the hell out of our story. He said, where did you get married? When did you get married? And then he followed up with, what is your wedding anniversary date? And then he said, has your husband ever been back to Jamaica to see you since he first left? And he asked for wedding photos, chat histories, call log histories, flight itinerary and flight histories, and money transfers. And thank God I was prepared. He then took the photos, he looked at them and he smiled, and he was like asking me questions about the photos, and it made me feel comfortable. And then I'm going, ooh, I got it. And then he handed everything back to me, and he said he is awaiting the medical, which is going to take 3 to 4 weeks to get there, but everything checks out on his end, and I can expect to get correspondence of my visa after the medical has been received. And that was my interview process. So I got it, guys. I got it, and now I am waiting to collect. And I promise you guys, I'm going to give you a full, from start to ending, of my whole filing process, because it has been 3 years, but 4, and there's a story time for why there is 4. But I'll definitely tell you the whole process in another video, and I hope you guys found this informative. I will leave links below, and please ask me any questions that you want to ask me below, and if there's anything else you want to expound on in another video, I'll be certainly happy to do that. Guys, please prepare. Please, please, please prepare. All that you need to take to your interview is given to you when the embassy sends, when NBC sends you that email of your interview letter. They put links in there. Please click on the links, read. All that you need to know is available to you. Another thing I might add that was a really huge help to me was the Jamaica NBC Process group on Facebook, guys. Everybody who is doing this needs to be a part of that group. Go over there, follow the people in the instructions, of course, abide by the people in group laws and group rules, of course, but that group has been a lifesaver in helping me to prepare. So all the resources you need are available. Just go out there, find them, seek them because they are there. And I hope I was a useful resource for you guys. When you go to the interview, don't fumble, don't falter, be confident, smile, smile, smile. If you smile, your interviewer will smile with you, okay? So smile. I saw a woman, the interview telling a woman that he's sending back her case to USCIS. Just imagine waiting all these years just for your case to go back to USCIS because he kept saying to her, I'm not hearing you, speak up, and she's mumbling. Guys, be confident. I hope I hope this was I hope this was beneficial and resourceful to you. And let me know if there's anything else you need. Bye. See you in the next one.